Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway. Call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful Monday afternoon to you, everyone, as we start another weekly cycle of The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. Before I say anything else, let me apologize for the late start of today's program, of the week's programming, and that's because of some technical issues with our computer that we're having, requiring a bit of a restart that took as long as, computers have a mind of their own. So I hope you understand, and trusting that you had a good and enjoyable weekend, Independence Day on Saturday, with all the celebrations that came with it, that you're one of those, the majority, I think, who came out unscathed from it. Not so for everyone. And I hope that you did your best to keep others safe as well, to protect others. Remember, you can never be truly safe and happy if you are not caring about the safety and the happiness of others. Selfishness in a society, in a community, in a country, we are social beings and so on, is always a very misguided approach. It's always very foolish, and it never yields whatever it does, even though you seem to get the moment's gratification. I'm sure you know it's never a good thing to live among or side by side with people who are tense, who are unhappy, who are resentful and angry, and especially if you know that you have had something to contribute to that. So, St. Lucia, we've come through the independence celebrations. What's next? Not exactly sure, but I don't know, very early in the month of March, the Lenten season is going to begin. And it's for many of us a time of reflection, a time of prayer, a time of introspection, and so much more that it means to us. If it means nothing to you, then resolve to continue being a good citizen, a good neighbor, a good St. Lucian, whatever it is that is of paramountcy in your life, that you will live it lawfully so, and live it to the fullest and to the best that you are capable of. Speaking of the independence celebrations, it appears to me that there were a couple of, well, it may be too mild a word, but mishaps involving motorcycles. I'm told, as part of the celebrations, motorcycles going over the guardrails where people, spectators were, and injuring at least one or two people. And but it appears that the injuries are not life-threatening. The driver of one of the motorcycles and one person, I'm told, were among those injured. Don't know if there were others. Let's wish them the best for speedy recovery. I know I talk a lot about show-off bikers and the kind of driving, but I continue to say that boys will be boys, young people will be young people. I mean, over the weekend, I heard this revving of the bikes up and down. And guess what? I like to hear it, I love to see the guys doing their pop wheelie, even though I'm not of that age group and so on. I doubt if I were, I would want to. I love to see young people having fun. But I think our roads, where the general traffic is not the place for that. Now, as to whether if you put racetracks for them, I really think we need special car racing and bike racing facilities and so on. We need what you call the drag racing and so on. And we should also aim in the future to become maybe the first country in the Caribbean to have a Formula One level, racetrack and so on, to bring those big names. I think it'll be a major tourist attraction. Who's going to put up the money? I suspect we'll have to think of it as a joint venture, as a partnership between government and the private sector, especially a lot of the people who are gaining citizenship by investment. That is one of the investments that we can maybe talk some of them to jointly enter into with one another, with the government, whatever, putting in some kind of equity, some kind of counterpart or partnering financing and so on for it. It's worth it for our young people. We need to give them a place where they can it can provide an outlet for them to express themselves, to recreate, to have fun and so on, and to do so in a safe way. So motorcycle facilities, car racing facilities, and even horse racing. I know this one, because of the old DSH thing, became mired in controversy. But I remember the Kakabev that we talk about so much. There used to be some local artisanal, the how you call that, the mongrel breeds of horses, whatever it is. I don't know too much about horses, but there used to be at certain times of the year, horse racing taking place there among the locals. We can bring in the high class derbies and all of that as well. There is no reason why they cannot coexist, or they can't exist side by side. Have our people go to the high class things as well. Give a sense that not because you're black, not because you're not so rich, that you can't enjoy those sorts of things. I remember we used to have boat racing too. Around the time of year where we were twinned with, what was it, St. Luce in Martinique and so on, and they used to come down the Kouskanot Gomier, the Gomier boat racing. I don't know if we still have that. It was around December 13th. It's not because now we have the Arc Atlantic Rally for cruisers and other things that we should not get. It's a tragedy almost, I'm prepared to say, that we are small islands. We have so much marine beachfront and so much space, in the seas and so on, but so many of our people, they're not marine minded, not marine oriented. We have to encourage them. The aqua action type, the Beckway regatta type of games where people get really to express, the seaside and seaborne side of our history, of our culture, and those sorts of things. And I really would like to see that. Even with gun and people shooting people all the time, we need to have gun clubs, sport shooting that is more open. And I know there are prejudices about this thing, and some people, you just cannot get it out. Oh, you're going to go and let them to, you need to have facilities where young men can go and do some shooting. You can't expect the fellas from the time they grow up, you bombarding them with all those stars and the gun fellas, whether it's Jason Statham or Sylvester Stallone or whoever they are and so on. You have to give the fellas an outlet to go and fire some shots. You have to begin to look at the different mechanisms where you can give gun licenses to young people, if not for guns that they will keep in their possession, but for sport shooting. That you have a place where you go a certain time, you have a license to do sport shooting, the club or whatever it is has guns that you hold, you do the sport shooting and so on. You are assigned scores, you are assigned medals or tags for your level of proficiency, and when you go, you have to live, in other words, custodial gun ownership, custodial gun licensing, not one that you can go, but one where you can go and do some shooting of moving targets to see who can shoot best while they're running. It's quite a skill, Very few people can do it, shoot while they're running, you understand, and shoot well. To have this kind of things and allow investments for people to get into those things. We have I know you find it strange maybe coming from Shelton Daniel, but, we have to get out this kind of prejudicial closed-mindedness that we have. Up to a few years ago, there were some people who were unhappy about what was taking place at Baudelaire, jazz at Baudelaire, and letting people who are inmates there go and enjoy some musical entertainment and some concerts in the prison, just like we opened up and we allow them to study, we allow them to earn certificates and do their CXC and do their degrees with Monroe College. We need to expand those kinds of things. You have to give people outlets for self-development, for self-expression in healthy and lawful ways. I don't know what is the state of the prison farm program, but there was a time I'm told, prisoners going out on the prison farm was a great thing. They were supplying a large percentage of what the prison consumes in terms of crops and food. I think they even had a livestock farm and chicken farming. Who knows whether the prison farm may not end up solving the egg supply problem that's affecting maybe St. Lucia and so many, that we might end up producing so many eggs. We have to open up our minds and stop seeing everything. It's like up to this day, you tell people about distributing condoms in prison. Oh, they're not supposed to. What are you doing? Encouraging them? That's how you should encourage them. You encourage them to become born. Yes, you should encourage them to become born again Christians and practice abstinence. But people who out there, including very religious people, pastors and so on, for some reason they're not having that kind of success. What you prefer? For them to give people condoms in prison so that whatever they end up doing, whether you want to call it bullying or whatever it is and so on, that they don't come out there and then they are reformed. They turn their life around. They go to church. They have their Bible. They find some woman in a church in the community who's impressed with them. They come out with a strong work ethic and talents and skills, but they're HIV positive. And nobody knows. And the woman who marries him and so on, they don't know. And the next thing you know, HIV and AIDS and so on spreading all in the place and so on. At the end of the day, if people's hearts are what it is, they will not do things that are wrong and sinful and so on. But we should not impose it upon them to such an extent that it gets driven underground and then the whole country and the whole society is put at risk. We have to stop thinking that everything must proceed in the manner of our own. We live in a society where there are the righteous and the unrighteous, the sinner and the saint. There are all these different kinds of people, and we have to accommodate them. I say we need to think outside the box. We say it all the time, but we don't do it. We have to open up access to firearms in a lawful way, whether for sport shooting, whether for custodial licensing where the gun club keeps it, whether we stop thinking of young people or young women and so on as people who ought not to even be considered for a firearm license. You do the necessary psychometrics and evaluations and all these sorts of things with them. You put them through the training. And we need to, because this is a St. Lucia where the bad guys seem to have unfettered access to firearms. A woman who coming from working a hotel shift at 11 in the night, the bus puts her off at a point where that is 600 yards away from her home. She has to walk under dark trees and bushes and so on. And after she taking it hard to feed children she has with men who never turn around and look at them, a man or two men are waiting in the bush to jump on, to ambush her and to rape her. And the only difference is that they have a piece of iron that she don't have. They have something they can put by her head. We have to think. Likewise, I'm saying, folks, you hear me talking about the show-off bikers on the road and those guys who, when they reach the border wash flat and Marisil and they see lines of traffic and they want to show off and they will go. And the things and the problems that they are causing, people, we need to think. When we're talking to investors for CIP, whatever, offer to them as part of infrastructure option or entertainment development option or sports development option, investing in motorcycle tracks for racing, for stunts, investing in car racing tracks for drag racing, to think of a Formula One where we might end up being the first in the Caribbean, for horse racing tracks in ways that do not involve giving away the entire country and, throwing everything at it plus the kitchen sink, selling the country downriver for it, that we can do those things in sensible ways. I'm encouraging that we have to think about those things. And also think of our prison. Think of our prison as an unfortunate, but which we can turn into an advantageous capture point for people who have fallen through the cracks, who have fallen afoul of society, that part of the rehabilitation will be personal development, self-development, education, the acquisition of skills, the prison farm, developing of agriculturists, where agriculturists can come in and teach them propagation techniques of layering and air layering and grafting and this and that and the other, so that when they come out, the recidivism is lower than it would be, because they now have something to live for in terms. I'm not saying it's not happening, but we need to think of those things and give our weight and support to those things. I will repeat what I've said before. The sad thing about life now, why many people feel economic crunches and things are rough and they don't have money and they complain about supermarket prices, is because we are living in supermarkets. We are living a supermarket life. That is where we live, that we absolutely depend upon it. Now, that's okay for someone who has a job and earns a little that they can go and spend in the supermarket. What about people who their level of income is so low that they go to the supermarket and they're challenged with $50 shopping? When they check and they see the thing comes to 98, they have to stop and they hold up the line and they're thinking, put that back, so that they can go back to at least 65 or whatever, which is all they have. I have seen on one occasion a woman burst into tears right in front of the cashier when she realized that the money she had was not nearly the things that she needed and so on. I haven't seen it happen too often, but people are feeling distress. It is not the fault of anybody in a conspiracy to squeeze or to mess up the country or to distress people and so on. This is the reality of the world, the supply chain, the shipping costs, the brick bulk, that when you go into destinations like St. Lucia, where you don't need a whole container, a whole shipload of the thing, you have to brick bulk into smaller ships to come in and to drop it and so on. It's a whole set of dynamics and so on. But at the end of the day, I am recommending that the Ministry of Agriculture try to get in place a volunteer force. And with us having so many graduates from Cuba and so on, where I am told of the revolutionary spirit of people out of the fervor of becoming self-reliant would go out, people who trained as doctors to provide free services, whether on given days, to people out in the different communities and so on, to make sure everybody was cared for, the cooperatives. I am suggesting let us create a country that has the space, especially publicly held space, where we can create foraging opportunities for the less fortunate. I'm serious. We need to create a greater foraging friendly country for people, so that not everything that they need or that can hold them for a day or two, that they have to go to a supermarket where they don't have money. You've heard me talk about the fruits, I call them exotics, maybe that's not the right word and so on, but the indigenous, so many things that we grew up in St. Lucia, that a hungry person going for a walk can double an exercise that you take, whether at Louvet, whether at wherever, and at the same hand you can push your hand and pick some, chapeau tree or kai meat or whatever that grows in this area, down in Miku, because it is more it's more humid and moist and so on. Maybe there are other things that would not do well, and in Louvet and so on, because of the dryness that you can grow them there. We need to start doing those things. Bring back, so much wax apple, and I think, wasn't that Taiwan who gave us that thing? What about our pomours, which has many properties similar to the wax apple? What about engaging in a place about regreening, replanting, rewilding, cultivating those things, so that the zombie, we have to think about them too, we'll be less inclined to go and to break into somebody's house for food and so on, because there is an abundance of those. At least when you feel you faint and you're passing out because of febres taking you, that there is enough of the calories of the natural sweetness in them, just like we had the mango and the this and the that somebody can go and pick and forage for. You know, like I said, I know it's expensive, but Ministry of Agriculture, we have a community spirit that's still alive. Let somewhere be the propagation point for those plants and so on. And so you have these things growing wild. Not enough so that you affect the commercial sector in a manner that it suffers. I'm not saying to go and plant avocado trees or the normal things. I'm saying those kind of fruits that we grew upon, and agriculturists, there must be something you all can do in terms of, you know, selective propagation and selective breeding and so on. That, you know, the fat pork can become a little fatter. That this wagyu and so on, that we can develop one that is fleshier. That this kokuli or dums or whatever it says the real name of it, that we can have those things. In other words, I'm saying a society where people can forage, those who are less fortunate and so on, that they can live, so that their lives are not dependent on the supermarket so much, and which they cannot afford to begin with. The supermarket life is become expensive and inaffordable, even for those you expect who could afford it. They're finding it tough. The price of things, down from chicken back, down from turkey, which used to be less expensive, cheaper than chicken, now it's just as expensive, more expensive. Everything, wings, don't talk for that. That is gopicha now. You cannot afford it and so on. And yet, the way our lives are structured is like the supermarket is our life. I'm just saying, let us start to build a society that has opportunities for foraging, especially for the less fortunate. I know these ideas, they sound way out, we never consider them, but we have to start thinking that way. Now, this is only a fraction of what I intended to say in my preamble, but we started late. So let's take the break, and then we'll be right back. I have a bit more to say, but I promise you it won't be long before I open the phone lines.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway. Call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you for tuning in to and staying with The Real Issues on the radio station Real FM, serving you on the dual frequencies of 91.3 for those of you in the north and 91.5 for the south. We also simulcast on NBC Television, channel 120, on the Flow Cable TV service. We are on Facebook Live as well as streaming live on YouTube. Here's what I really wanted to talk about. I agonized over it a lot because although sometimes I'm sure I come across that way, but I try my best not to behave or pretend or take on the role of being a preacher man. We have enough of them in St. Lucia, in churches, on the street corners and all of that. But it's my opinion that a lot of problems, the social problems that have developed not just in our country, but just about everywhere, including what I consider to be a decline and a depreciation of moral and ethical values. Maybe one of the greatest crises of values that we have had over the years is not so much the love of money, but that love of money has led us to have an excessive and undeserved admiration for people who have money. People we perceive as being rich. People we should frown on. We have become like we look up to them with a certain admiration, like we eat out of their hands. We hang on to every word they say. We laugh at every joke they make, however dry, as we say, a dry joke that making no kind of sense, but they just say because it's all part of the admiration. You can do no wrong. As would say, kaka munna pakasanti. I lived in St. Lucia, I saw a lot of those big names that everybody knew was a drug baron and was in drugs and so on. And you would have discussions about them. And it's funny about these types of people, whether they be the late Bonnie and Gabu and so on and Wally. A couple alive of that era and so on who had that kind of legend and fame about them. It's the same way, with Donald Trump and whoever else. They like people talking about them. They like to be admired. They like, to wow people and for people to, and they'll do the most outrageous things. And everybody knew about Gabu and Wally and Bonnie, and it was Modu Wally at you like Wally everybody just clear the place. We buying out the bar, we don't want you there. On book the like buy to Wally for them young gorget. Bonnie for me as if, and I'm sure we knew those things were wrong, Those fellas come to a beach and they just take over the beach and they don't want you there because what they're doing, you might see what they're doing. So they want you to clear the beach for them and their boys and so on to party and to have fun. And you can be there with your wife and they feel they can come and chat her up and even to touch her right in front of you because but you sound that there was that kind of admiration. I don't know if it was respect, But people want to be on the good side, in the favor of people who have money. And I feel over the years, it created a culture, subculture, of us admiring people and even almost worshipping them for no other reason they have money. There's nothing respectable about them. They're ignorant like anything. It's clear the education level is low. The quality of the English, the way they express themselves, they're crude, they don't have manners, they don't have culture, they don't have graces or refinement about them, anything like that. But us have l'argent, so they're acceptable to us. I am suggesting that it is this admiration to the point of worshipping people for no other reason but that they are rich, which is what has landed America. What has America now stuck? And you can say what you want, something is happening in America that really, to me, it really makes the country devalued. To me, America, the image of America, you always find good and bad in every country, but when the leader, the person who sits atop the constitutional order of a country, the president and so on, behaves the way I see Donald Trump behaving, you tell yourself, how could a country that claims to be the most advanced, the most developed, the most enlightened, the most, advanced country in the world in almost every area, how they could have elected this dude and done it twice? I look at the guy getting in some kind of spat with no less a person than a governor of one of the states, a governor. And yes, there is the federal thing, certain things that are federal matters, but there are certain things that are state. The governor is the president, you might say, of a state. And actually telling the governor, are you going to follow the federal directions or not? If not, and tells her in front of everybody, I hope you enjoy your life after governor because you won't be governor for very long. I looked at this thing and I said, oh my goodness me, I've called far lesser people déclassés than that. But this is a president. This is supposed to be a wealthy man who has been in business, hospitality business, hotel business, golf course business. You would expect that this man has learned the skills and the finesse of interaction, but you know why? He's just so big. Who the hell cares? The man talks to other world leaders, calls this one. Nobody else has called Vladimir Zelensky a dictator. He calls him dictator. He puts down people. He denigrates people. I said, oh my goodness me. But still the man is loved and admired by people who will fall at his feet because of wealth. Wealth. And when you hear that wealth can buy power, and you have my references to Donald Trump and so on, it's because here in St. Lucia, I think I've seen it happen. The Chasney name became a brand. The Chasney name became a legend. And so I believe people, the name Chasney, from the days of M&C, Minville and Chasney, the myth, and whether it was a myth or not, but the absolute awe in which Michael Chasney was held as a big businessman, successful one, his son coming into the politics, having money, a lot of people felt that equated to success. And there's something that has been foisted on us a lot. The idea that we should run a country like we run a business. The idea that if someone is successful in business, private enterprise that is, we can import them into government and they will bring the success of running a business to government. My friend, it may happen, but not necessarily, and in most cases, it is not true. A government is very different from a private enterprise. And when you see somebody who comes into government bringing the same mindset of private enterprise, sooner or later you feel their pain. Well, for one, there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes, I think it's Ecclesiastes 5:10, which says that a lover of silver will not be content with silver alone. Let me see if I can quickly call it up. Let me see if I can get it there. I think it's Ecclesiastes 5:10. Very interesting, this Bible that a lot of people are looking to denigrate and to do all these sorts of things. I think it's Ecclesiastes 5:10. Yes. He who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver, nor he who loves abundance with increase. The man who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver, and he who loves abundance, will not be satisfied with increase. He'll increase, but that's not enough. Tell me in reality how many people you know who have been rich in the private side of things, and they came to government, and it was not to secure their private wealth and to increase it. And their cronies and their friends and their associates, whoever this may be, these are the people that they look to build up and so on, regardless of whether that person is Silvio Berlusconi, the late of Italy. You know, wherever they are and they come in, is always to enlarge themselves. They very seldom come and genuinely want to help the ordinary and disadvantaged people to become rich too. They don't want you to become rich. Why? You're rich there. I have my plantation. You are work on my plantation. I want you to come and work on my plantation to help me to increase my productivity and my riches. If you become rich and become a millionaire like me, or even less than that, would you want to come and work for me on my farm? I need you to keep my factories and my industries and my plantations and my hotels going. The rich know if they make you rich like them, who's going to work in their hotels for them and this kind of thing? They don't want that. You know, this is the other thing we don't understand. But you know, for many of us, it becomes somewhere which, now Ecclesiastes is in the Old Testament. It becomes something where one of the shortest books in the Bible, in the New Testament, in Jude, I think it has only one chapter, and there's a verse 16, which says something. Very interesting words about men it talks about. These are grumblers, complainers, walking according to their own lust, and they mouth great swelling words, flattering people to gain advantage. Now, maybe it's not speaking particularly to that, you know, but for many of us, we admire rich people because we believe that those rich people, somehow, we can buy osmosis, we can buy crumbs off their table, we can buy trickle-down economics. We will become good because we are supporting them, or maybe because we prefer them there, so that we can get something from them. And I'm telling you, a lot of the problems that I see America getting itself into now, you know, I mean, this man seems like he's more concerned with, you know, and this is the ethos, you know, when a rich man, you give him the reins of public office, government, and so on. He wants to run the country and the government like he runs his private enterprise. Donald Trump seems to be a man, the greatest influence on his mind was when he was the host or whatever of The Apprentice. You know, the punchline usually at the end, you know, I can't take any calls now. You're fired. You know, that seems to be the greatest thing. The man is running roughshod through his own administration, firing people by the thousands. You know, firing people by the thousands. What for? You know, does he care about how those people pay their loans and their mortgages? It's not that they were given any advance notice or anything. It's that instantly in one day just said, you fired, firing thousands of people, assigning Elon Musk to do it and so on. Does it care about how they send their children to university, what their lives are? How can you turn an economy around and make people's lives better when you are firing people by the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands on your very first day coming, regardless of the impact it's having on their life? Is it not the money of those people who go to the Walmart and they shop at this place and they do that keeps your economy stimulated and turning over? Isn't consumer spending a mark of confidence and a mark of health and a mark of stimuli in an economy, especially one like America? Yet you're firing people, you're depriving them of the money that they need to keep, and plus you're putting tariffs on everybody. So when they import things and so on, it's always more expensive. They import things simply because it is cheaper to import it than to produce it in America. The prices that you will pay Chinese, whatever, to work in factories, which I understand, or Mexicans and so on, a lot of them are American investors. Americans will never accept that kind of money. Mexicans come, they work on your farms, they keep your farm labor taking over. You're going to put endless tariffs on them and so on. And now you're going to raise the thing. I don't know how. Folks, we have to pay attention to St. Lucia, you know. We have to pay attention to St. Lucia. The big test of us is whether we will repeat the mistake that we made, where people come to government with the same mentality that they had in their private enterprise or in their father's own or in Butch Stewart's own or whatever, and they want to implement the same, I am monarch over whatever I survey, I am king of my own castle. Well, the country is not your castle. You can't be king over the country in the same way that you are king over your own castle. You can't just come and shut down our Radio St. Lucia. You can't just come and shut down Custody Suites and demolish it. You can't just come and demolish Soufriere Bridge. You can't just come and relocate our garbage dump in Vieux-Fort without thinking about the logistics and the implications, environmental and otherwise, of transporting waste over such a long distance and pushing aside the Beausejour Agricultural Station and messing up, this gentleman from Labrie who spoke with us some time ago about a rabbit business that he had, and blowing away everything for some harebrained scheme that you have to do this and to build 25 artificial islands and so on. These are things you do with your own castle, your own private enterprise and property. You're coming down and messing up our national trust and crippling it by defunding it completely, and all of a sudden, just like Donald Trump firing people and putting 200% tariffs on them with no advance notice or time for adjustment. And then when you finish, why? Because you wanted to build some dolphin park or whatever, and who knows who you would have given the concession and whatever to run it. You can't come and run our country so. And people, I'm telling you, in just the same way that Donald Trump believes that his re-election is a validation of whatever he attempted before, if Alan Shastney comes back, he coming back with that same mentality. He coming back with that same mentality that he's anointed and he's chosen, and that is a validation of what he do. In order to secure the rent for his family's real estate and buildings, do not consider it far-fetched that this man stop and demolish halls of justice, or that he just freeze it and put it in place. Whatever the plans that they had for St. Jude, do not be surprised if this man comes and shuts it down so that he can turn it over to some medical school or whatever plan he had with the box and so on in the middle of a hospital complex, and students who are on a different vibe moving about the place and getting in the way of doctors and nurses and orderlies and so on. People, we have to be careful. I'm sure you can think of examples that can go on and on and on. Be very careful. Not because America is great. And I don't know if America was so great, why you need to make it great again. Do not be fooled here in St. Lucia. America has the resilience and the wealth and the resources to recover. We let somebody come and mess up this country. We do not have the wealth. We do not have the resources. We do not have the capacity for resilience for us to recover. And when we find ourselves on our backside, we're living in a world where less and less, fewer and fewer instances can we depend upon those who have to help us, because they have so many irons in the fire. They have so many things doing that this may be the last time that Britain give us money for the Millennium Highway and West Coast Road project on that scale and so on. And even that we're having difficulty in how it is being implemented, how it is being rolled out and so on. A whole lot of mess up things going on there, in spite of the fact that we did not have to fund it ourselves. Look at the quagmire that it has descended to, how long it is taking and so on. And when Donald Trump now cutting off US aid, and he cutting off that, and this one slashing this, and aid slashing, and all of that, people, we can't afford to mess up. And we cannot afford to let people come in who are going to mess us up even more than the world now seems to be geared toward vulnerable small island states. Kipani Niduvan, Nide. Don't let people come, because they have never tasted poverty. They have never tasted hardship. So they're insensitive. So they callous. So they cauterize to the plight of people who don't have. People who cannot live the supermarket life. People who don't have, options like they have to do whatever they want because they were born with not silver spoon but golden, diamond, platinum spoon in their mouth. Be very careful with those people. Very, very careful with them. Now, before we go to the next break, let me just touch on a couple small matters that I wanted to talk about. Small matters. But talk about them I must. I noticed these days that there is a particular social media influencer who I won't name, not because I'm afraid, but when I make general principles and I make statements, it's not people, this ad hominem thing that I want to come after you. And people are free to do what they want. It's not about arguing with the person's right to see things as they want, but unless I'm mistaken and I'm not understanding the vibe, sometimes there are little nuances and subtleties. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I may be misreading it completely. But I noticed there is a particular social influencer who is doing exactly what I've been warning you about. The sudden pivot, the sudden turn, the sudden, like, they're there with you in a way that you can say, okay, they generally seem, and they suddenly just turn and they start to attack you. It's not sudden, you know. It's been planned for a while. That's why I keep telling you all people, my brethren, be very careful who you run forward to embrace and to be telling them the nicest things, how one thing you admire them. A lot of you all doing it because you all think you're being clever. That by blowing smoke up there behind that you will give them further, shofma, an impetus, an incentive. If they say Alan Chastney this and Alan Chastney that, right away you all go. No matter how, outrageous these people have been and so on. You run and you tell them all the nice things about themselves because you believe you'll pump them up to say more things about Alan Chastney. You're very careful. In politics, you ought to be smart, you ought to be shrewd, you have to be, but don't be foolish and imagine you being smart. And the best thing to do is to just stay quiet. So the best way when people come and want to vomit to you all the things they have with somebody that they used to gang up with against you, is just listen well and nod your head in, I understand what you're saying, and feed them with a long spoon. And take what they're saying with a grain of salt. Now, they could be genuine, but don't take it for granted that you all into them, giving them validation and all this kind of thing. There's a guy who used to attack me, and I noticed a pattern in the way the guy used. And when he used to attack me, he had a vigor and an energy about it. But before he did, he almost always used to praise me about how I'm an intelligent person, and when you listen to me, I'm like a talking encyclopedia. I'm a guy who's full of knowledge. Tell me all the nice things, and then over some inconsequential, innocuous thing would come out swinging against me. And that was the pattern, Because what it does is that it makes you look that you must have messed up pretty badly. You must have done something really wrong for this guy who used to praise you to turn against you. And as a result, you end up being somebody who looks more helpless, who looks more with your back to the wall, who looks like, is it? I don't think anybody believes I have something against Shelton. I think you've heard me praise him. I think you've heard me say he's an intelligent guy. It was all a setup. It was planned all that time. Build you up so that when I lash you, everybody will in their mind believe that you must have done something. Be careful with people. People who go on this rant against Chastney and this and that. And you imagine that because they anti-Chastney, that they pro-Philip JP and Labour. Not necessarily. It's all a game they play. And they time the moves, the pivot that comes and the turn like you got to be on call without warning. You don't expect it. Oh my goodness me, you're totally disheveled and discombobulated and so on. It was all planned. Be very careful with people like that. Don't fall for it. And I'm talking to you, my fellow Labourites. Don't run and embrace people and be under their live or on their page, bigging them up because you believe it will give them shofma. Let me tell you something. I'm not the most knowledgeable and I never put myself as a political analyst. But in my time observing the politics of St. Lucia, you see the true flambeau, the true hardcore, whatever you call it, sometimes they don't even seem so hardcore. Sometimes they seem reasonable. They meet you. They come over, they talk to you, they tell nice, so you don't get there's any bile again. And there's nothing personal about a lot of them, Don't think what I'm saying there means that they are hateful people. They're not. But there's something about flambeaus that I even admire. Even though I don't support them. I laugh. There is nothing that excites and stimulates a flambeau more than the prospect of giving Labour a black eye. They may not like Compton. They may not like certain things about him. They may not like certain stories about him. They may not like something about. They may not like Chastney. But you see the true flambeau? When crunch time comes, when silly season hits, when election comes, something in them just stirs up. If I may borrow from Lady Lean's song, there is nothing that stimulates their appetite and their taste buds more than to see a plate before them that they can knife and chew Labour. Knife, couteau, they can knife it and chew it, There's nothing that stimulates them more and excites them more than the prospect and the chance to knife and chew labor. They just, as if they almost get an orgasm just thinking about it. That's the flambeau for you. So, a lot of them, before elections reach on the horizon, before they can see any hope in Chasney, they can't see any way, they can't see anywhere. They'll tear into him. They'll tell you things. They'll meet you. A lot of them will even fool Labour, including ministers and government and all, to tell them, look, man, I've supported the UWP before, but not me with this man Chasney, Chasney, I can't take on this fella. They'll tell you that. And maybe they're genuine, about not liking Chasney. But you see the flambeau in them? As you draw closer to time, they just have this passion, this energy, this rage to take a crack at Labour. And there's nothing when election night and they see they win the election. Nothing can stop the orgasmic pleasure and gratification they feel that they have just knifed and chewed Labour. Everything they tell you about Chasney may be genuine. No, they're not lying. But the flambeau in them, Pete tell Shoy Labour. And that's it. When election night is not just they worry that no Pete tell Shoy Labour. And even though UWP do nothing for them, and they never care about Chasney, and when Chasney in office, they even join you walking the street in protest and so on at Chasney and DSH and do a lot of flambeaus, that massive march in 2017 it was, or whatever, when Philip J. Pierre organized shortly after he had become there. I knew UWP couldn't win. From that time, I knew UWP couldn't win. People turned out too much. There was too much of a groundswell at the time. But the flambeaus may come there. But now, not every flambeau, because I'm sure a lot of flambeaus, a lot of people who were flambeau gave up and they voted for Labour. I believe that. And that is where the wisdom of Philip J. Pierre's pragmatic politics, because he understands that working with Stephenson King and Richard Frederick was a means of shepherding, embracing, bringing in a lot of flambeaus or former flambeaus who would not ever have the heart and the desire to give up flambeau and to embrace Labour, but for the sake of the faith, the belief, the bonding, the amity that they had with Stephenson King and Richard Frederick, they would move over. That's Philip J. Pierre, master politician. That coalition and so on is a master stroke. And I hope the master stroke continues. Because if not, a lot more flambeaus would have stood their ground, would have stuck with their guns, that no matter how bad my party is, no matter how much Alan Chasney has done, I cannot get out of my mind, the thrill, the gratification, the salivating, the slobbering at the mouth, the licking my chops, the smacking my lips at the prospect of giving Labour a good knife and chew. The real issues will continue shortly with your calls and messages.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
For staying with the real issues on this Monday, and we have someone on the line. Good afternoon to you. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Shelton. Good afternoon to you, Jaquan, and to your viewers and listeners.
How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, Shelton. I'm wonderful. Are you feeling the vibe? Are you a damn proud Lucian? Wait, can I take damn on the radio?
I think you'll be sanctioned, but I'll leave that for later.
Oh my, well, I'll say it again before I get sanctioned, so they can't find me twice. I'm a damn proud Lucian.
All right, okay, good for you. I think you just how we call that? You just cancel the sanction by saying it twice.
That's negative. Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
I want to shout out the government.
Can you speak up a bit, or is that the best we can have?
It's,
okay, you're a little low and distant, but we
can you hear me now?
Yeah, a lot better.
Good. Shelton, I want to shout. I called actually on two things, but you added a third one in your preamble, so I will address that in a bit. But I want to, shout out, congratulate the government of St. Lucia, but most importantly, the Independence Committee for putting on a host of activities and all the fringe events, which were well received, well attended, and were wonderful. I caught a few of them, including the bikes near the market and the activity at the VG at the SAP and the fish the seafood festival.
Right,
And,
yes.
they were well attended, and I'd like to congratulate the Independence Committee and those organizers. I think that we've done well for ourselves, and, apart from myself blasting Sly's song and other songs which celebrated ourselves as St. Lucians, I think everywhere I went, I heard those songs either playing in vehicles or, at people's homes or at bars and these kinds of things. So you get the feeling that people are very, very, very proud to be a St. Lucian at this moment in time.
Okay.
You mentioned something earlier about the ranges and, other activities that are gun-related. And you spoke about custodial firearms licenses and
for sport shooting and so on.
Involves custodial firearms, right? And on that, in that light, I want to also congratulate and give a shout out to the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, especially the Alternative Sports Department. I think that's headed by Director Craig Gustav. And it's funny you say that, because last weekend at the Sports Awards, we were having a discussion on the fringes of the event, Craig and myself. And he was speaking about an activity which was taking place the next day, which is paintball on the SAP. And I want to shout out Terrell Compton as well, who I believe is responsible for that. And through our discussion, I said to him, you better be prepared for the backlash that is coming, especially in light of, the current situation we face with the violent crimes and the young people and the guns. And like you said earlier, he explained it perfectly. And one of the things brought up was that an outlet for the young people. I brought my daughter to see it the next day, Shelton, and she wanted to be involved in it. And just because she saw a young girl, Shelton, she must have been about, I think that's Terrell's daughter. She's about 11 or so, 12. And you saw other young people, and you swear it was a Call of Duty game that you were watching. They had all the movements, the actions, the poses, and everything. During the paintball thing. So I believe it's a good outlet for our young people to come in and, enjoy themselves, practice, and instead of shooting each other, shoot at targets and that kind of thing. And Shelton, finally, I wanted to address our motorists, and especially those who traverse regularly the dual carriageway at night. You speak about the bright lights and people drive their high beams, but I believe people driving on the
There's also the matter of people driving without headlights and having only park lights on.
Right, and park lights. But
or substituting fog lights for headlights. Doing all kinds of weird things except what is the lawful thing to do, you know?
But there are also people who drive with their high beams on the dual carriageway and believing that the people in the opposite direction are not affected.
Exactly, because vehicles are different. Vehicles are different heights. If your vehicles are higher than the median barrier, it's gonna hit the person in the opposite two lanes as hard as if you.
Exactly. And Shelton, the reason I'm saying is that last night I had a similar experience on a few occasions in the dual carriageway. And to complicate matters, the dual carriageways are not painted. So I found myself having to come to an almost complete stop, in some cases a complete stop, because I cannot even see I'm on the inner lane and I cannot see the barrier. Because it's unpainted, it's not even white, so I can say, okay, I can gauge myself. But these lights are coming full force at high beam. So just a matter of courtesy. And in addition, people are still driving with those blinking lights, and I suffer from photosensitivity. I know there are many other people who suffer from that. I'm sensitive to bright lights and also blinking lights. A fluorescent lamp will be blinking light. I'll get an instant headache. The iPhone has this thing where it blinks as a notification. I get an instant, literally instant. Within a second, I get a headache. My eyes and my forehead, my head starts to hurt. So people need to be sensitive of those things, those blinking lights they have on those vehicles and how they affect other drivers, because it's an easy way to cause someone else's death. But let me not hold up the line, Shelton. Good afternoon to you and your viewers and listeners.
All right, thank you very much. We have another call on the line. Let's take that other call. Hey, good afternoon. Real issues. Hello.
Welcome in.
Yeah, go ahead. Hold on. Let me just tell this other caller. Hi, caller on the landline. Can you hold on while I let this other caller come through? Please hold on, okay?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes, my brother. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. That's why I have to say your audio.
Good afternoon to your last caller. Then, my partner, how are you doing? I hope everything is well. Well, Sheldon, the one thing about me that I'm so happy What I'm getting a feedback. Anyway, let me go. Let me tell you, St. Lucia from now on will be experiencing 2 carnival. One with rum, one without rum. We had a major time. I appreciate, and boy, let me tell you, when I see the way the young schools entertain them for independence,
Are you understanding?
and you are within
Mike,
that
I'm sorry, but your call is not coming through
something
very
happening
well.
there, though.
So let's try a little, okay? We have someone else waiting. I'm sorry, but the quality of the call I can hardly hear or understand.
Yeah, okay.
All
I
right.
understand. I'm saying, yeah.
It's not
Let me call
something
again.
about the call is really distorted. Okay, so we'll talk another time. Maybe you can call back later. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Sheldon,
Yeah, go ahead and speak up a bit for us.
I want to emphasize on the people in Jericho. You see what's going on in the States now? The people that vote for Trump, they're actually demonstrating against Trump.
I'm telling you,
And they're saying that they regret they didn't vote for that, what they're getting there now.
Yeah, boy, they really must be having a lot of buyer's remorse. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
I only want to tell St. Lucians. You see what? We had a past. Now we don't want that to repeat itself again. Right? By selling our land, getting tell us that we're going to get 24 thing over the seas and all kind of things, selling all the beach site and all kind of thing, with Tiwaking and all this kind of thing. Taking down the prison, want to destroy the princery, the courthouse and all this kind of thing. We don't want this thing to happen again. Right? We have 3 dictators in the world. Trump, Putin, and Chastain. Now I only hope the people in Jericho don't put us in that kind of fire, that hot water again.
Yeah.
I only hope I'm preaching to them.
Yeah.
And I just sat, I just sat and they'll hear my voice very, very often, because you see what's going on in St. Lucia there? God has sent this man for us, Philip J. Pierre, to take us out of the problem that we was in. You know? Praise God for Pierre. And I don't care what people say about Frederick. Frederick is one that helped us out from that thing. You know? Same for King. King, see that he was in trouble. And the country was in trouble. That's why he come and he go on the other side. Right? So I only hope all those that can see that the wrongdoing that was happening in the past, in the tenure of the man, just forget about him and let's St. Lucia carry on in the way carry on there now.
Okay.
The only thing that we have in St. Lucia going on that's not right, the little children that doing the little thing, you know, them drug things and whatever, fighting for a woman and all this kind of thing, that will stop. That will stop.
All right.
Even if not stop it, it will cease. Pierre will stop it. I know he will stop it.
Okay.
St. Lucian people, we will get the hospital.
All right.
And I'm telling the Prime Minister, as soon as that hospital finishes, he can call his election right away.
All right.
That's my contribution this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my friend. Thanks a lot.
buddy.
Enjoy the rest of your day. All right, 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that mobile number, and 4533-911, our landline, where we're getting a call right now. Good afternoon, The Real Issues. You're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Daniel.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm all right.
What's on
I
your
just
mind?
want to bring back on 2 things that you said at the opening of your presentation. Some years ago, you were talking about how we go about feeding ourselves and to at the problem of the supermarket when you can't get the right thing. Some years ago, we had what you call home gardening, promoted by the ministry, or backyard gardening, and that was doing very well. I think that's something we can also investigate or look into, so that we can, so the problem that you highlighted can be lowered, or we can get some resolution to feeding ourselves. But my main point I want to hit out at you is not really hit out, but I have a little problem with it, with the teaching people, youngsters in the sporting world, use as a sport, shooting. I know that has happened in various countries. But my problem, my issue with it here, that my brother, if you're doing that, what we need to do is sports that impact on people's mind, that mold character. Because if you have a person that goes into that kind of activity without the proper mold, the proper character molding, the values, we're going to get what we don't want. In times that would take place if we had, remember in the days of the scouting, the student companion programs.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Justice. Let us do it in a structured and organized and principled way that comes with good mental preparation. It's just the same way you like a martial arts teacher. You know, I'm sure you don't just go show fellas how to punch and break a man's ribcage. No. You do it with the proper mental conditioning, the ethics and the morality and all of that, and even the spirituality that comes to it. And I'm just saying, we don't have this organized programs here, but still we have a lot of fellas getting access to guns, shooting one another, shooting people and doing this kind of thing. Do it in a manner where you have the right framework of, we might even say indoctrination, you understand? So that you know that you are doing it within a framework of responsibility, being law-abiding. And what is even more, I'm sorry to butt across what you're saying, it's very nice what you're saying, but even more so, that you do it in a manner where there's registration. So you come and you sign up for being part of a gun club for sport shooting. Your records are there. They take your fingerprints. They take your DNA. In other words, you have to agree to give up all things that would make for proper detection later if you go rogue. You understand? So there's a database there pertaining to you that if you go rogue, as a matter of fact, a policeman can just go and say, look, there is a shooting that was carried out there. And it has certain little clues about it. Mr. Gun Club Manager, can you suggest to me who might, and the Gun Club Manager can say, look, and I'm not saying say it publicly. There are some students who show themselves to be exceptionally gifted, and that looks like a pattern of a guy that I have here who's doing what nobody else can do. You understand? And right away, you might probably have a better chance of solving, cracking the case than if you did not have it in the organized manner. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm catching you.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you're very right. Yeah? You're absolutely right. Okay, well, I wouldn't say any more on that, but except to say that for the martial arts karate, when it's trained and used and practiced and promoted in the proper form, the etiquette, dojo etiquette, the value pounded into students night and day, every training day. I'm talking about traditional martial arts, shoot and karate, every day. You will get a better resolution to the issue we face today. And I'm
sure very few, if ever any of the students that you and other senses have turned out have ever gone being fellas who, because they know how to kick and punch and use unarmed, go about beating up people and breaking people armor. Very few of them. Absolutely. Why? Because none of them. Why? Because the indoctrination and the mental conditioning and even the spiritual aspect of it all brings out a character that you don't do this kind of thing,
But I was offered an opportunity on another radio program, on Stanley, and I was giving quickly the point where a parent came to me and said, what, she didn't understand karate, she thought was what the television and the movie show revealed. And she asked me, what did you do to my son? Because her son doing his homework and the TV playing next door and he don't go there. You know what he tell his mother? Mind over matter. He learned that through the teaching of karate, you need to blank out certain friends, certain people, certain things. Right. And that is what I want. I speak to them. They want the Ministry of Sports to use sports and credit of sports for children, okay, especially martial arts. I know they don't give it much attention. I gave them a place to train pilots. But they need to look at those issues, the value taught in sport, whether it's Tai Chi, martial arts, drafting, something. We cannot just go solely on the premise of hitting or doing that without that moral code. that had to be embedded.
Exactly. So you see what I'm saying? It is training in combat, but with character development at the same time.
Like a soldier.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You can have young people who can learn shooting and sport shooting and all of that, but with character development, with accountability.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's hooligan Jamaican.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
All
Good.
right. We continue taking your calls. 487-9849. We have a call on the line now.
Hello, Shelton.
Hi. Good afternoon. Real issues.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're on the air. Call on the landline. Just hold on for us while we deal with someone on the WhatsApp line. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Hold on. Call on the line.
What I would
go ahead.
term a remarkable independence celebrations. Shelton, I'm getting an echo from your end. I'm not sure.
Okay, is it because we have the landline on? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so we just completed
just hold on.
the battle relay, which I think was extremely successful. I saw the unity among the various communities, and it was followed by military parade, the celebratory rally, shows all over, very good fish fiesta, business expo in Viewfort. I think we have been seeing what I would call a reigniting of the national pride that we once had, and we gave it up to other countries. We learned, we saw in the past how the Barbadians, exuded that kind of pride. And I think St. Lucia is really coming back because we have a lot to be proud about. The achievements of Julian Alfred, of Johnson Charles, of Darren Sammy, and so many others around the world. But Shelton, amidst all of this, you have a group of people who are still up to mischief. And my attention was drawn to an article that was written by the St. Lucian Patriot. Now, some people can sit in their ivory towers in Canada and other places in the world and write about St. Lucia and order or send instructions and directives of how things should be done in St. Lucia. But Shelton, what they don't realize is action speaks louder than words. And I'm sure I could identify myself. This is Alison Jean. I have been repeatedly bombarded by these operatives of the United Workers' Party over the support that was given to me during the time when I lost my son. And I am extremely grateful to the people of St. Lucia. But they need to stop bombarding me about this. Because what I have done is to transform that support which I got to assisting St. Lucians. Okay? Since 2018, when I lost my son, we immediately created the Beaufort Foundation. And everything that we have collected, all donations, have been channeled to the people of St. Lucia. So if you do not hear my voice about every murder that's in St. Lucia, you should see my actions. My actions are directed at trying to assist the people of St. Lucia in reducing the incidence of crime. And here's how I do it. I do it by supporting youth, by providing them with skills training. We do so every year at the National Skills Development Center, where we support in excess of 100 students between the ages of 12 and 18. We also do so through the support that we give to the Boys Training Center. Last week, the Boys Training Center celebrated 65 years of existence. And they referred to the Beaufort Foundation as their godparents. We also do so through support to the New Beginnings Transit Home. Many of them do not even know where the New Beginnings Transit Home is. All right? So I do not have to come and beat my chest and show and talk about every murder that happened in St. Lucia. Okay? I have converted the pain that I have been through at the loss of my son into purposeful attention to the people of St. Lucia in trying to assist other people. And I will not say the other things that I do on a direct level with people who are impacted by crime. So what I want the operatives of the United Workers' Party to do is to come out and denounce crime. Come out and denounce the anger that is within them. When their leaders are coming out and attacking people, they need to come out and say, stop doing it. When pronouncements are made to the criminals to turn their weapons on Labour Party supporters and Labour Party leaders, they need to denounce it. So if they want to hear my voice, come out with their voice as well. You see, Shelton, people must stop the mischief. And the level of desperation is too visible, I want to tell, especially the women of the United Workers' Party. Their level of desperation is too high. When people were given checks that cannot be accounted for, the others need to come and denounce it. They need to come and say it. They need to find avenues for
we have to go now. So because the 2 o'clock has reached.
2025 were double daily grand 4, 13, 21, 22. Big 4, 7, 7, 6, 4. The Big 4 multi-export run is FP. Big 2, 3, 2. The Big 2 multi-export run is 2X. 1 off, 4, 0, 9. Lucky 3, 8, 8, 8. The Lucky 3 multi-export run is 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues.